Oops. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Desiree DeMars. It is Friday, December 31st, 2021. I'm an artist, an evolutionary coach, and a shamanic practitioner. And I wanted to share today just a short reading for some insight, let me say, around this day of completion of the year. And then tomorrow, what I thought I would do is a more complete ceremony and reading for bringing the new year in. So I already made an offering, created sacred and divine space, called in guides, angels, teachers, and all of the ancestors, and wanted to just jump right into the reading itself. And what I would like to invite you to do is take a few breaths. I'll just rattle for a few seconds so that you take a few deep breaths. And if you can, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Wherever you're viewing this from, just deeply relaxing, allowing your head, neck, and shoulders to relax. And hold an intention that this message that comes through the sacred symbols today will be powerful for you, will give you guidance, insight, and wisdom about something that you're holding dear in your heart, something that you may be inquiring about for yourself, for others, or just for the collective, and just seeking greater clarity about. So let's just rattle a few seconds, and I'm going to have you blow into the basket of symbols, and then I will read for you the spread that is being dedicated here for the end of 2021. So let us begin. So, what I'd like you to do is, in your imagination, I'd like you to call in your guides, angels, and teachers, your guardians, your power animals, and your ancestors to join us in the sacred and divine circle, bringing wisdom, knowledge, and insight into this final day of 2021. So with your intention and 3 beautiful breaths, just blow that into the symbols, and I will join you in seeking out the wisdom of the sacred symbols. Before I throw the rest out, let me pop you down onto the... Oh, there we go. Just take a moment to kind of tune in to, as best you can. I know this is not ideal, but just tune in to the overall pattern that you see, knowing that you would be sitting here on this end if you were here in person with me, and I am here. And so that would be your perspective of this information that's coming through. And the first thing I like to attune to is anything that just pops out that seems really important for me, or just kind of seems to be speaking loud and clear. And then I will look at this piece of coral here, which is representative of the inquiry, of the intention. And then the next piece of importance, most often in a reading, is the piece that would represent you, and that is here, this little half shell here, which is facing up. And then I scan the center, this diamond here, to see what's at the center of the inquiry, of the question. And that is very fascinating today. But let me start at the beginning. So if I'm looking at the inquiry here, it's very interesting as the inquiry is kind of resting on this small ancestor here, which would represent somebody on your maternal side, your mother's side of your ancestral lineage. So there's something underlying, a young, not even a young adult, a child on your mother's side. And the inquiry is also, if you could imagine that it's like reaching out, expressing itself as allowing or receiving information to come in. Directly above it is this beautiful piece of abalone, which represents the idea of reflection. So I would say that is the main theme here for today, is to really go in, take time to reflect. This piece here is the shaman, and this is the angelic realms. This is a beautiful piece, which is also open with its kind of its back, which is fascinating. It's touching the inquiry and its back is facing. So the wings, it's like the wings are touching the inquiry or the question at hand. And then closest to it, you see a couple of coins here. This coin represents financial abundance, or this idea of money, something gathered of value to you. This is the throat chakra, and this is Uranus, which is really fascinating. Uranus, you know, the sudden and unexpected. And I can't even tell if I put that back in the right place now. I got a little caught up. And this is really fascinating. So I would say, you know, as a completion here, it's you know, there are going to be surprises, sudden and unexpected things, something involving financial systems if we're looking at the collective, or it could just be your own values, what you value, what you no longer value, and maybe assessing that in this idea of reflecting on what you truly value as you move forward into this new year. And then beautifully, it's wide open right in front of it. Over here we see a shell that represents the physical, the body, and it too is kind of turned upside down, and that is saying, you know, this is also about reflection, really getting clarity about what that means to be in your body, to be focused on your physical beingness in the world. And then this piece here is a beautiful bone that represents like a rebirth. So look at your life, reflect on what is happening now, or has been happening, I would say, this entire year. And it's like almost kind of summarizing or um, gathering up all that you have received, understood, and maybe even transformed throughout the last year. And know that this is truly, it's a time of rebirthing. And it could be subtle, and yet there are times or things that may happen that will be sudden and unexpected coming forward. Um, and that makes complete sense to me. Just as I was throwing the pieces, what came to me was that image, of the birthing of, the child ready to be born, or the creature, the critter being born, something being born into this world, and that moment of breaking free, or being rebirthed, being reborn. Maybe even you're feeling like there's a rebirth happening in your life, but it's that moment where there's some awareness about this shift that is happening, and it may just be on a very deep internal level, but there's something shifting from the environment that was, or what was happening in the past, and it's now time to shift into a new way of being or experiencing the world that you live in. Like, the world is changing, and we do know that, obviously, just seeing the chaos and the transition, the transformation, sudden and unexpectedly happening. And what is closest, what I was also noting, is here, this is about the sun and fire. And we know that there have been incredible waves of fire. In fact, we just had these 2 fires in Colorado where hundreds of homes have been just aren't even recognizable anymore. And we know that the sun is affecting our DNA. It's affecting everything within us and around us. In fact, it's affecting the entire planet. And so we're going through these great transitions right now, whether they're subtle or sudden. And what I would say about this piece being here about the throat chakra is that what is important in this kind of phase or state of rebirth, of kind of looking here, this is about the emotions, taking time to really take care of the physical self, creating ceremony. This is about ceremony and the mind. Ceremony that really supports this balance of mind, because it is obviously, not about just a thinking process, but also about our state of mind, the balance that we have in our mind, so that we are aligned with our central truths, with our core channel, and that this rebirth is allowing us to align with the next phase that we'll be moving into in 2022. And then another piece that is really beautiful right here at the base of the inquiry, and this is a pointer pointing directly to this idea of a vision, of having a clear vision, getting clarity about your vision. And then this is the father. So father energy, the masculine, getting clear about the vision so that we can move forward through this new phase of being reborn, reinvented. And this is about the first chakra, or the foundation. It's like building a new foundation. And so sadly, through these fires we've been having, droughts, floods, just huge. This could be all about water and flooding too. It's not just about the emotions. This piece is representative of the water within us, that water element within. And so taking all this into consideration, this is our blueprint that we came into the world, the soul's blueprint. And this is fascinating because it's facing down. So again, it's about being reflective, really remembering really understanding your true self, your true nature and purpose, and aligning yourself with that in a way that supports you in moving forward with frequencies. This is all about frequency. So much of this moving forward is about just energetic moving, not necessarily a move physically. Maybe not much will change in your world physically, but something energetically is definitely changing. And here's Saturn too, resting on the mother. So that is fascinating. So mother and father here. Gosh, it almost looks like a yin and yang for where I'm sitting. So this beautiful balance, maybe, it's about kind of within us on an energetic or frequency level, finding that balance of masculine and feminine so that our vision as we move forward is balanced, is clear, is strong and stable, especially after these last couple of years. The challenges that we've all been going through as structures fall apart and have to be recreated. And then what is incredibly fascinating to me is this in the center here, we have the lock and the key. And those are two pieces that are very important. I like to check out where is the lock and then where is the key. So this tells us that whatever is locked, hidden, somewhat, it could be foggy, it could represent an aspect of the unconscious, something we're just not clear about, not certain about, or that we are choosing to not recognize, not to feel activated or active in. Some aspect of our life, or it could be someone, something, it doesn't matter, it could be a situation. But what's fascinating to me is this is the piece, it's Elkhorn, which is representing community, what serves us, what nurtures us, the greater collective. And then here is the key. Now, what are the chances that the lock and the key are right here next to each other? And they're also right next to, as I said, this idea of our foundation, our core, our root chakra, our primal aspect of our energetic self. And so this seems key for, especially today, and this time of moving forward, of shifting into a rebirth of sorts. And so bringing along with us for this experience, or having around us this idea of community, of energetic support. And then what's really beautiful is we have an ancient ancestor here, which is the feminine, the maternal ancient ones on the father's side, on your maternal side. So the women on your father's side, the ancient ones, and they're resting right here, kind of in this little crook of eagle condor and another ancient ancestor, which is right here, which is the masculine on your father's side. So very interesting. Again, that beautiful balance of masculine and feminine of the ancient ones being here to guide us with wisdom, really taking this ancient wisdom, almost like I feel like it's a rebirth. It's a time of rebirthing the ancient wisdom practices, the ancient wisdom ways, and seeing how they are aligned with the new way, the new sciences, the new understanding that we have through technology, and having that balance of the old and the new, the technology, the spirituality of the ancient ones and the ancestors that brought us to this place. And now bringing this new information, weaving the new, the technology, this bursting forth of transformation of our DNA, of our planet, of many species on the planet at this time. And I also believe, I would say that what seems one of the key pieces here too in this central diamond is this piece here, another little tip of Elkhorn that is about work, our work in the world. What is the work in the world that we're doing? So really reflecting on the work in the world. It's really being amplified right now. What are we committing to? Um, Really taking, now this is fascinating that we have Eagle Condor here resting on its head, on its back. And it's resting on a piece here representative of the home in a way that's like how we see our home, what we wish for that nurtures us. How do we feel about home? Where is home within us? More so than the external. But nurturing that connection to our true home, that true source that we are indeed connected to all the time. And this is Jupiter really amplifying things right now, along with Venus. Beautiful. So really also reflect in this time of the year ending, what is of value to you, what represents truth, beauty, and love, and what of those things do you desire, do you wish to take forward into the future to build this new foundation, this aspect of stability for moving forward. Because I would say we're moving forward, I'm seeing this kind of spiral unfolding here. And the 6 is representative for me here at this dice. It's about alignment and completion of sorts, because it is the highest number on the dice alone. And if anybody who's out there that's into numerology, we have a 10. So kind of this sense of reaching a pinnacle point, a pivot point, a completion. And we've got the piece here. This is the piece of turquoise heart, is all about soul retrieval. So reflecting on these parts and pieces that we're now ready to bring in through our ancestral lineage, from the healing that we've received all throughout the year, through the transformation that's happened, whether we've chosen for it to happen or not. And this is Pluto. And we know that, Pluto in here, this little dagger here, it's about letting go. There are things that we need to just let go of that are in a state of transformation beyond our control. And it's really time for us to allow for the release of that which no longer serves us. And then I just realized this is absolutely beautiful. Not only is the ancient ones are here at the center on the paternal side of your lineage, but then you have the masculine and the feminine here of the ancient ones on the maternal side of your lineage. And I would say, I call this is a little frog. And when he's on his back, I say frog is often like the canary in the coal mine. The frog represents this this idea or sense of a foretelling, what is to come. And I would say this solar energy that we're receiving, these fires, oh, wow, okay, and it's actually resting now that I picked it up. The sun resting on Mars, wow, it's like a double whammy, kind of this potent force that's moving us forward, which we know Pluto is very much about that. It's like these changes that are happening in the greater story, the greater picture, far beyond any control that we have. And it resting on that is the sun. So all this fire, incredible energy of fire, transforming us. I would say like the phoenix just popped into my mind of, this burning down, and out of the ashes, the action, the aligned action that we see, sense, feel, or know about our future, about the steps that we're taking into the future, and then expressing it. expressing it in the world. That's what this throat chakra is all about. Opening and expressing the self as you move forward. Expressing, which could be, I think this is a common thread I've been seeing in the last month or so, is that, saying yes or saying no. And often many of us that are caretakers, caregivers, healers, channelers, empaths, our tendency is always to say yes and to give, because it's a part of our nature and part of the service that we came in this world to do or to express. But then there's a learning in that often that teaches us that sometimes we need to say no in order to align and stay focused on this greater journey that we're on, and that sometimes we really have to honor, whether it's a yes or a no, honor the truth that we know aligns us to this greater vision, to the greater vision here of what will bring balance to the masculine and the feminine, the balance within us, the balance in our community, the balance in our greater or global community into the world, which is, I would say, here's the divine feminine, the mother, pointing to Pachamama. Again, we have, and then we have Mercury, again, about expressing, unrevealing. This is a piece also that's a little bit about maybe, something being covered over, something being ignored, something being hidden. And Pachamama is saying it's time. The DNA, the divine feminine energy needs to come forward. It's time for the divine feminine to come forward to align with Pachamama, this beautiful planet that nurtures and serves us and the greater community. And our DNA, this is our DNA right here, this piece of red coral, is amazingly powerful. We're having transformation, as I said, on the DNA level. And so are the other creatures that we share this planet with, the other beings, the other living life force that is here on every level is being transformed. In fact, I see near this, right, is what's close to it is a bone that can represent an ancestor of a child that is not yet born, or it can represent in the greater collective field something that is not yet created. So I think it's important to remember that in this time of reflection, to really reflect on how you are being your own medicine, using self-care, self-knowledge, and wisdom to trust and align yourself to your greater vision. And it's important, the timing is really critical. And it's not to say you have to jump into any action, because the truth is, the power, it is happening around us, whether we invite it or not, or desire it or not. But what's important is to align ourselves to our particular energetic purpose or vision for being here and now at this time. And that masculine and feminine is so beautifully reflected here too, with this Celtic cross in the heart, which is all about the divine union within the self. And so you might feel an amplification right now too, mentally, like there's a lot of mental energy. I'm getting chills right up my spine and into the top of my head as I'm speaking about this. But this is Jupiter, as I mentioned, and it's really amplifying what it is, how we are thinking, how this element of air is being transformed through fire, through this idea of having to move forward and move forward on our spiritual journey. Definitely on this cycle that we're in, this very intense transformative cycle that we and the entire planet and the whole cosmos. My understanding astrologically is that there is also an amazing influence of the great attractor right now. And that is literally like a vacuum cleaner that is sucking things in and sorting things out. And, out, out goes the air, and in, is collected all that is the residue no longer serves, is no longer needed or desired in this next cycle or phase of this process, this greater process that we're in. But overall, I would say it's an absolutely beautiful reading. Just, it's such a beautiful um, a circle here, a spiral. Things are really spread out. I think I would say the message is that as we're coming to the sense of completion in this year, there's just allow for a settling in, allow for a level of acceptance of, um, I feel like it's like just taking a deep breath and allowing a big sigh so that you can create space, just as the great attractor is creating space for something new to be created with what it's sifting through. And you're doing the same, just releasing, letting go of what no longer serves, allowing this new space to be open, free, and available to where you stand now and where you're taking that next step tomorrow as you move forward into the new year and into the future, this next great cycle of 12 months. So, with that said, I'm going to stop here so that these readings aren't too long or lengthy. And that's why, also another reason why I just wanted to bypass recording the ceremony. But I know a lot of people really love the piece of ceremony as much as I do. And so I want to include that as our launch pad for the reading for next year, or that for the first day of our new year. So with that said, thank you so much for joining me. You can find out more about my work on my website, which is just www.DesireeDeMars.com. And if there's something that comes to mind about what I said today of importance, I will post that in the notes below on the YouTube recording. And with that, anything about future events or something that you might be interested in what I'm offering in the future for this new year. So with that said, many blessings, and just allow this. I'm just feeling I just got another wave of looking at a piece that's here on the bigger circle, the bigger cycles here, is one that represents, again, fire or passion. Let this fire, maybe even the losses that you're enduring, the things that we've had to let go of and change and release, allow that fire to ignite a new passion within you for this vision that you have, that you know comes from a greater source, from that source that we are always tapped into, that is always supporting us and connecting us to be aligned to the greater transformation of what is happening in the world. So many blessings. Happy New Year. And what I'll do is just close the circle with a little rattling again and wish you well in 2022. Aho. Thank you.